I'm Justin Mott, and welcome to my home in Hanoi, Vietnam. And if you're new here, my channel is dedicated to all things photography from the perspective of a full-time working professional photographer. So I talk about photography gear, photography accessories, photography advice, and even some travel gear and travel accessories as well. I'm a big bag person. So today I'm going to talk about camera straps. What? Camera straps? That's worthy of an episode? Well, I think it is, because camera straps are what connects me to my camera. It's not as sexy as talking about a new camera or a new lens or something like that, but I think they're important. I care about the style, I care about the comfort, I care about the craftsmanship, and today I'm going to talk about these brand new straps just released by my friends over at Wotancraft out of Taiwan. I've been working with them for a long time, so full disclosure, I am one of their ambassadors, but I've been using their gear forever. They've been making watch bands forever, they've been making camera bags forever. And now they decided it made sense to start making camera straps. And a lot of you have asked me in the past about my favorite camera straps and the old camera strap I use, so I'm going to compare that to this, tell you about this, tell you my experience using it, and you can make a decision for yourself if it's for you. So let's get into it, let's talk straps, and let's talk photography. Guys, as always, don't forget to check out my online store at justinmott.com, where I've got presets like this one that will not make you a better photographer, but they will add some pop to your images. I've also got a variety of one-on-one classes available. Anyone out there interested in improving their photography, open to all levels and all genres of photography. And lastly, guys, don't forget I've got a few slots left for my Northern Vietnam Photography Workshop. That is this year, 2023, in March. It is February now. There's only a few slots left. You can check all that out at justinmott.com. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about camera straps. Let's talk about these bad boys here that Wotancraft sent to me. When they sent it over to me, I was like, is this really worthy of an episode to talk about camera straps? You guys gonna be interested? Well, you're watching this far, so I think you're interested. Well, they are important to me, and for those of you that are new here, I do a variety of different types of photography professionally. So I do commercial photography, and for that kit, I use a Sony kit. Used to use a Hasselblad kit for my commercial work, for my editorial work, assignment work, journalism work. I use a Leica M10D and a Leica M10, and then for my street photography and personal camera, I use a little Ricoh GR3 here. And so I like different straps for different things, and I like different cameras for different types of things, obviously. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about these straps. I've worked with Wotancraft for a long time as an ambassador. So yeah, full disclosure there, I already mentioned that. And yeah, sorry for the moody light today. It's actually really gloomy outside. It's only like 4 p.m. and I just wanted to film this episode. Been thinking about it for a long time, and I just went for a walk and I kind of got it in my head and I was like, let's do this episode now. It's really gloomy outside in Hanoi here in February. I guess I'll take it over the heat, I guess, but it means I'm required like an off-camera light here, which I don't normally like to use, so it's like this moody feeling today. All right, so camera straps. They came out with a whole bunch of camera straps. Wotancraft's been making high-quality canvas and leather bags, handmade bags. They're out of Taiwan. They've been doing this for a long time. They're really, I wouldn't say they're aimed at like Leica and rangefinder people, but that's usually who gravitates towards them, people that care about that style and that craftsmanship that kind of matches the Leica aesthetic, which I think it does in like a more organic and adventurous way compared to like the Billingham bags, which I think are nice and the quality is nice, but they have more of like a snobby feel to them, whereas I feel like the Wotancraft look is more rugged. Wotancraft's also been making high quality watch bands for a long time, so their stitching, their leather work is incredible, their craftsmanship with that kind of stuff, they have a long history of doing it, so it only made sense for them to make camera straps as well at some point, so hey, about time. All right, I'm gonna start here with the wrist strap, which actually isn't released yet, so they said I could talk about it, but I checked on the website and I don't see it on there yet, but I think it's gonna be on any day now. They said in February, it's now February, but I did double check and they said it was okay. Anyway, I got this wrist strap here. I'm using this for my Ricoh setup here, and I went with, you have two choices with all the straps. You can go with their sort of traditional Cura split ring, and theirs is made from copper, which will patina quite nicely, and it has a more like polished, more refined, just more like kind of vintage look to it, and it's just a cleaner aesthetic overall. But I decided not to go with that because of the way I operate. Let me explain. I went with these Peak Design little clip links here, the anchor links they're called. So you see this here, it's just basically like an anchor link. It just clips right in, no fuss, no nonsense. Got my strap here on the little loop here on the camera body, which will go here on my Ricoh, or I also have one here on my Leica, like has two. And then basically this little anchor link clips in here very easily, very quickly. It's secure, it's nice. I like this style, not because of the look, but just because I just interchange straps often. Sometimes I get stinky. Sometimes I'm just packing up, like when I'm on an airplane and I want to like, I've gone over on my carry-on luggage, so like I need to carry the camera physically on me and shove it in my pocket. It's just easier to do without the strap on it. There's a lot of different times I'm taking camera straps on and off too, switching up. If you switch between a wrist strap and a neck strap or things like that, sometimes you're in the mood to shoot from the wrist, sometimes you're in the mood to shoot around the neck. So anyway, I chose their wrist strap here, their canvas and leather one. It's mostly canvas with just accents of leather. Another cool thing about their full leather straps, I'll talk about later, it's one piece of leather, which is, I'll explain a little bit about that later on. But for my Ricoh GR3 here, I just like this. I'm a wrist strap person for this camera, but anything bigger than this, I don't like to use a wrist strap for. This is about the size I like that for street photography. And it kind of works perfect. So if you're like a Ricoh GR person, then I think you'll really dig this strap. I got the all black, but it comes in a variety of different colors. It's really nice quality. You can really just feel that big chunk of leather. Again, the Peak Design quick release thing, I dig it. But again, the aesthetic isn't as pretty as their Cura split rings. Those little split rings are, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're those little rings that like, you always have to finicky get your nail in there and you feel like your nail's gonna pop off, and it just bugs me. I don't like those things at all. But if you're the kind of person that's just gonna put your strap on once and have to deal with it, then fine. And then just on that note, Peak Design regular straps or nylon straps, I actually like them, just not for this aesthetic, not for my Ricoh, not for my Leica setup. I do use them for my Sony setup because I shoot resorts for my commercial work and I get sweaty and we're passing cameras around sometimes, and I don't know, I just like their nylon straps for that. They're easier to clean and they don't get as smelly, and I don't know, I just get like dirtier and nastier when I'm shooting commercial work than I do shooting editorial work, which is weird, but it's more just the sweat. It's gross, and leather doesn't. And once you sweat in leather for a long time, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a personal preference there, but it's just nice that I can interchange them with this Peak Design little quick link system. So that's the wrist strap for people that are interested in that, but what I'm more interested in is this neck strap here, which is something I just use more often. It comes in two sizes. You get 100 centimeters or 125. I went with 100 because I like it kind of around my belly area, so I like the way this sits. I like that it can tuck under my arm easy, around my back. But the cool thing about this one, so they have a couple different options. Again, this one, the same thing. You get the Peak Design anchor links, or you can get their copper Cura split rings. And those will attach right here on these little frame, little mounts they have on all cameras. So I love this on my Leica. I like the look. I went with the tan leather, but they have a variety to choose from. Black, green, brown, camouflage, I think. A whole bunch to choose from. Now the cool thing about what differentiates them is their leather work. Like, this feels so soft, this leather. And you can get this in two options. So you can buy it at the high end, it's $129. That is for the Peak Design anchor links, so a little more expensive. And that's for the tapered edge on the leather. So they're all made from one piece of leather, and why that's important is less stitching means less chance of things falling apart. It just also has a cleaner look, but it also has a tapered edge to it. And why that's important, and you can buy it without the tapered edge, that one is $60. So it's quite a significant price difference, but why I chose to go with the tapered edge and why I would recommend to go with the tapered edge is it's just kind of nice the way it sits on your neck. When you have that little rough edge there, after a long day, if you're one of those people like me, you shoot really like full long days, that scratches into your neck, and leather can get rougher on your neck, and this isn't. This is super soft. This is like really nice. I'm trying to show you here what I mean by that tapered edge, but it's rounded. Like, they really like have great craftsmen there that work on these things and just sort of round it out a bit. So it's not a rough edge. It's hard to explain, hard to show you. You're just gonna have to trust me. But a big price jump. So this would be the high-end one with the Peak Design anchor links and the tapered edge, and that's $129. You could buy the same one without the tapered edge for $100. And the reason that costs more is because it's a lot of work to go through this one piece of leather and round the corners out, and it's just like beautiful craftsmanship. And then the same version of the strap with the Cura split rings is $99. So there's sort of three price points there for the full length leather. It's just really soft, and it's a nice light weight, and it's just a nice piece of like vegetable tan leather. So if you're into like leather straps and you don't mind spending a little bit of extra money, I would go with this. Now a lot of people say like, why is this different than your, I really liked your old straps, your Barton 1977 straps. And again, those came in about $100 too, but website was a little bit clunky there, and ordering them was clunky. There was odd stuff. Not knocking them, like I did have a good experience overall with their straps, but they weren't great for long days. They did dig into your neck a little bit. The craftsmanship it's just different. It's a different kind of leather. I like the look of these a lot better. I just think it looks cleaner. I think it's a more beautiful aesthetic. The braided look on those was nice, and the quality was decent. I just think this is better. That one piece of leather, and there's only stitching here, right where it connects to the anchor, right where it connects to the Peak Design anchor points here. So that's it for stitching. So a lot cleaner and a lot less likely to fall apart, and just nicer quality. So I don't know. I dig these. So I think the other straps are okay. This would be a nice upgrade for those. Any Leica shooters out there, it's not just Leica people, but I think people that are willing to spend a little bit more money on craftsmanship, on quality, and on aesthetic are usually more willing to spend that in the camera and also more willing to spend it on a strap as well. But I think it's kind of a perfect camera strap for anything, for any vintage camera out there, film camera, Fuji camera, Ricoh camera. I think it would also, in addition to the M10 series, it would really go well with the Leica Q, like to make that a little bit of a more sexy camera for you. And it's just comfort all day. And I feel like the quality is going to last a long time. I also think it's really good value. I know that's crazy because it's like 130 bucks for a camera strap, but I see the Peak Design nylon straps. They're expensive. I see a lot of other straps out there, and they're just not made with this kind of quality and this kind of craftsmanship. And they have this heritage, Wotancraft, of working with leather, again, with their camera bags and also with their watch straps as well. So the only downside I'll say is like this part here is a little bit tricky, and maybe I'm missing something, but the way that you loop these things in, it's not really their fault. It's more of a Peak Design thing, but these little nylon pieces that hook into the body, you could use those little rings and then attach it in, but I just want like one less contact point. So I just kind of shoved it through here, and it was a little bit cumbersome to do that, to sort of put these little nylon like loops here through here. It's tough to see here. I don't have a macro lens here, sorry, but that was tough to get it through. So I would say like shoving it through the hole was tough. That sounds gross, I'm sorry, but like getting it through was hard. I'm really gonna get gross with this. It was difficult. And so I would recommend like, don't use a pin because you could damage the actual like nylon here. Use something that's like thin and metal, but not with a pointed tip to kind of put it through. Once you get it through, that's it. Like it's a one-time deal. Then you just have to deal with a quick release and you're done after that. So that's great. But the first time was the hardest. This is getting really gross and a lot of innuendos. I don't mean it that way, but my mind just goes that way. But anyway, that was my only downside in this. So I think anyone out there, again, interested in craftsmanship, interested in comfort, interested in a beautiful aesthetic to match their vintage camera, their Leica camera, their Fuji camera, their rangefinder setup, I think it pairs well with that. I think it could pair well with Sonys and Canons and what have you, and I have those cameras. I just don't like it personally, that style. I like the Peak Design nylon straps for those, but again, it can interchange, which is also nice because I've bought into this little ecosystem of the Peak Design quick release, which is up to you if you want to make that decision. So that's it for today. I hope you guys like this episode about camera straps. These are both from Wotancraft. I do have an affiliate link below. If you're interested, you can check that out. If you really think you want to buy it, if you have more questions, ask me in the comment section, but I would appreciate it if you do use the affiliate link. It does help me out, but if not, that's also okay too. I still love you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.